Oh, hi. Dave here from DNA Reptilia. You might need a cup of coffee for this one. This is going to be a long build. Yeah, we're going to try to finish this thing today. This is a project with about a year in the making. Grab some Joe. Let's go. Alright, like I said, this is a project that I've hinted about for quite a while. I got this far with it, then I stopped. Why? Well, hatching season was right around the corner and I needed to spend my time elsewhere. This was a necessity. This is now becoming a necessity because I have other snakes in one of my grow up racks that I need to start moving over to an FB40. So it's turning into a necessity, so that means I really gotta get this going. It's an exhausting build. I have no idea what I all filmed. I have it all on the computer. So this is gonna be filmed with two different types of cameras, GoPros, all sorts of crap. But I've been running these two for the past year. I've bred them this year. There was eggs laid in them this year, or I should say this last season. And I'm doing pairings in them now again. So, yeah. And the thing is, once I build this side, I'm still not done. But that's turning into necessity. What I'm going to do next needs to be done, but it's another one of those things where I can prolong it. But anyways, stop mumbling, Dave. This video is gonna be long enough. Let's see where it goes from here, huh? When I have time, money, and the ability, I like to be able to do what I need to do. So this time, well, I wanted an FB40 rack, but I didn't have the length that the FB40 racks usually are, which is 4 or 5, I think 5 tubs wide, and I only have enough room for 3 tubs wide. So I decided to build an all aluminum extrusion metal rack, except for the tops of the tubs, which I'll explain in the video. This is all 3/4 inch aluminum extrusion that you can get off of Amazon. I got all my extrusion off Amazon. It's not the cheapest way, because the cheapest way, well, not the cheapest way, but a better way would be going to 8020.net and pricing out all the 3/4 inch extrusion from there. I wanted black and I wanted it quicker. The price is okay. 10 of these 1 meter long 3/4 inch extrusions off of Amazon in black is $92. What you see here is 10 of these extrusions, plus I got some 400 millimeter extrusions that I cut down a little shorter for the fronts. Yeah, that was about it for this, but I have more, and I kind of figured out how I'm doing it now, so I'm adding on to the side of this. That's why I'm shooting this video. Alright, let's go take a closer look. As you can see, I do have plastic tops. What this material is HDPE plastic. I'm actually able to laser cut this plastic. It takes about 15 minutes to do each panel, because I have to go in multiple passes. I don't have a CNC big enough to actually cut it, but I am able to use my laser. I have them all countersunk real nice, because that's where a snake will be. This is a slight texture. You can get it in smooth. I also have screw holes put into it, and I countersunk those so that all these stainless steel screws will be flush. I use these for mounting hardware, for doing the corners. Now these heat panels, basically piece of aluminum, put screws in the front, little tape on the back. That's where a thermal probe will go into. But I have 4-inch wide heat tape underneath there, taped to it. I got them from Reptile Basics. I got the attached ones, so I didn't have to do any work to it. It was like $7 for the first foot, and I actually cut off a little bit because the foot was too long. So I'm using the aluminum as a wear area for the tub to go against, so I'm not rubbing against the heat tape itself. Yes, I got tape down back here so that the little corners will have no way of coming up to scrape the bottom of the tub. You got screws in the front here to keep the front end down, and I just bent it over. Now on the bottom, to keep it in these grooves, I cut some more of the HDPE. So you can see it sticks out a little bit, which sits in the grooves of this extrusion to help keep it above top plates. That way heat will not transfer from this warm wood down to the top of the snake tub below it. It'll kind of sit like that. Now the one thing I didn't put on here yet is some guide rails, because these are going to be on rails. Well, I got the side rails done. I just got to come to length. Like I say, I got the side rails done. Just got to cut them to length. I got to cut the extra length off. But what I did with these is I actually used my CNC. Since my CNC is long and skinny, I was able to peck my first hole right there and then go down the correct amount of inches and peck another hole, and then I countersunk them so the screws sit nice and flat. I am not going to do it sitting like this. I'm actually going to do it like this, so the tub sits on this part, because this side to that side is 3/4 of an inch, and that's what the sides of the tubs are, almost about 3/4 of an inch. So this rail will sit right there. Let's get this off the saw and then do some metal work. I'm going to save 4 of these for the legs for the 2 other sections that will be going sideways. I don't need to cut these. I left them at the 1 meter because I have enough room where it's going to be put. Alright, tell you this much. Safety first. Protect your eyes. That's better. This is not your normal saw blade. This is actually a metal cutting blade. I do believe I got this, probably about 8 years ago for cutting aluminum extrusions. There is no, the teeth are straight. They're not one this way, one that way. They're perfectly straight and they're perfectly flat top. There's no pitch to the top of the carbide teeth. The teeth are actually wider than the blade itself. It is a large kerf blade also. And there is a metric ton of teeth on it. I mean, yes, with aluminum you could use a regular finish cutting blade, but you're better off finding the right blade for the tool, and your saw and your blade and everything will be very happy that you did so. I'm using a home-built slider. This is to put this down to help shield about getting aluminum all over the place. Since the pieces I'm cutting are longer than this piece right here, and I want them all to be the same, I clamped on a little piece of aluminum so I can use it as a bump stop, so I can put every piece in the same spot every time. Then I got a hole right here that I screw down another bump stop for the shorties. Now the first time I did these front and back rails, I used short pieces that I cut off just a little bit. I think they were 400 millimeter because I needed just over 300 millimeter. Well, these are 700 millimeter, and I darn near will be cutting them in half so I can get 2 out of each stick, and it's, I think it was $35 for 4 of these, and it was like $22 for 4 of the 400 millimeter ones. So spend an extra $10 and get twice the amount. That works. We're down in the rat room. It's warmer down here than it is outside in the garage. We're gonna put some of these platforms together. Plus we got some more goodies in today. The VE 300X2. I actually really like using these. I have a couple of them already, and one reason why I like them because they stack really nicely. And since I have one already in the area, I can stack this one on top. Be good to go. Ease of use. Got some more pre-wired heat tape from Reptile Basics. That's where I got the VE 300X2. Got the free shipping because I was over $100. But I got 10 more of these. I got the 1 foot with the cable attached. I actually cut about 1.5 inches or so off of these to make them work with our heat panels because 1 foot's just a little too long, but for $7 a piece, why not? And from Amazon, I just threw them in the box, got some more of our connectors, which are these guys. This is to connect the rails, the extrusions together to be fully hidden. For 20 of these, it was $16 off of Amazon. There will be a link below. I'll link all the extrusion too that I used. Reptile Basics, VE 300. This isn't a sponsored build because I got Freedom Breeder tubs, you know. It's a collaboration of purchases of things that I am finding that I like, and I'm kind of combining them all into one. Okay. I took my wood piece that is sized to the right size, which is 11.5 inches. This panel is. Screwed my 2 little tabs on. They're universal. I just made them real simple and easy. It's actually really strong. I'm probably going to use some of these for backstops so I don't slide tubs too far back. But anyways, screwed on the tabs. I cut off of this foot. I cut off 1, 2, 3 sections. Otherwise it'd be too long. Now, since I'm putting aluminum tape over the whole thing, best way to prevent any chance of shortage is take the tape that Reptile Basics gives you extra. Even when you buy these, they give you some more of that electrical tape. Put it right over the ends. Then there's no chance of a possible short. Now, this is a 9-inch panel front to back. The tub sits to about here, so about 4 inches up will be the 4-inch heat tape. Put it in the center. A little bit of aluminum tape. I like to use a razor blade and actually score the tape. It's kind of hard to see because of reflectivity. There it is. And then I always leave a little bit right here to peel from, because if you cut this off with the scissors, it's a pain in the butt to separate. Peel it till you get to your score. Take it off. Now, since I am actually covering this with a sheet of aluminum over top of it, it really doesn't matter if you put your aluminum tape over the copper. There is a plastic covering over the copper, so it's to actually help it so you don't electrocute yourself when there's electricity on the side. Then this aluminum flashing comes completely flat. What I did is I put a piece of wood in, let's do it this side, piece of wood on this side, piece of wood on this side, and put it in between a 6-inch vise, and I slowly pushed it over. And I took a hammer and real lightly tapped all the way across to give me a halfway decent angle. So I wanted these to be somewhat replaceable. Now, these are regular sheet metal screws, just little guys. They need long ones, since sometimes I wanted to put them into the 3/4 inch that way. These are only 5/8. Through the aluminum, they will make their own hole. Even though it's a pain in the butt. While you're putting the screw in, you want to make sure that you're holding this corner tight. There, that's a little better. I also like to pry up right here to give it a little bit of a bend, and then bend this back corner down. And now I'll put a piece of aluminum foil tape across the back here. What this foil tape does is help keep the back of this panel completely flat so it doesn't catch up or lift up at all and scrape the bottom of your tub slowly. Okay, these brackets come with screws, and they actually come with an Allen wrench too. Don't be fooled, this Allen wrench is not the highest quality Allen wrench. I got my own Allen wrenches that are higher grade steel. These Allen wrenches that come with this, after about 10 screws that you tighten, the tip rounds over. Assembly time. And the short piece, put it in so it can go in all the way. I use a shorter piece as a jig, slide it over, pull back to the corner, and then tighten the screw down here first. There's one end piece done. The really nice thing about the extrusion, if this isn't in the right spot when you first tighten it up, loosen up the screws, the set screws, move it to the right spot, tighten the screws again. That's why I'm using extrusion. The possibilities are almost endless. We're going to take our heat panel with the tabs. Put it all the way to the back. It's a little loose because I don't have the front piece on yet. Next step, we got to put the top on the bottom of this, so when we slide a tub underneath, it can not let the snake leave. This part is the tricky part. Not a lot of you guys out there would be able to make these yourself. But the material you can actually get from Menards. It's by the clear acrylic and plexiglass area. It is called HDPE. It is actually very strong and is actually easily machinable. It drills really easy and it countersinks even easier. I was able to laser cut this. If you have availability to a CNC will be able to cut this very easily. It does warp a little bit, depending on how you set it, but for what we're doing here, it's going to be laid flat and there's going to be enough screws in it to keep it flat. Next, what we're going to need is some 8mm long M5 screws that are countersunk. How these are measured is from here, this surface, to the end, it is 8mm long. The thread is M5, and what we're going to be screwing it into is, let's see if it'll focus on that. There it is. That little guy. It's like a little T-nut. These are especially designed for aluminum extrusion. Okay, they go in sideways like this, and when you tighten them, they turn, and then they go, well, you can go in through the top, and when we tighten them, they turn, and then they sit on the upper part right there. I am putting them all on the lid first. Now I got all my screws in there, got them facing away so I can put them into the channel. You may be wondering why is a U or a U shape for the air holes. Well, I know I have some cool toys, but my drill press that I use for countersinking is a little on the short side, so I could only countersink over to about this area right here before I hit the post. So to combat it, I just took the 4 holes I had here, put another row here, another row here. So it makes a U shape. Still has the same amount of holes. These holes are, I do believe, 1/4 inch in diameter. These holes through were 200 thousandths diameter, and then I countersunk them so that when I tighten up these screws, it sits, the screws are completely flush. All these holes are countersunk just a little bit, so if a snake goes across it, it's not going to hurt it in any way. This side I did not do any cleanup on. It is still a little bit on the rough side. It doesn't look the greatest, but there's no snake here, so I'm not worried. Just loosen it up. It should turn and lock that one into place. Yep. Alright, I like to do the front ones loose first and then put in the back one. I really do need to change it. I need to add a little bit of length where that one goes. is just a fuzz off. That's it. That is basically one shelf. Okay, as you can see, I slid them all the way, this rack all the way over to the right, because that's going to be a harder place to adjust from. So originally I was going to go from the middle and then go outwards, but I figure if I go far to the right, I can build sideways with no issues. I'll have about that much room left on the side if I keep everything off to the side, off to the right side. Which is fine. It doesn't have to be centered for me. It just has to fit within a 4-foot space, which works. 3 of these side by side will be about 43 inches. Well, it's not going to be 4 of these, it's going to be this one plus 3 additional, or 2 additional on the sides coming off of this one. So it'll be 2 more side legs and then 2 more sets of frames. The fun part that I am finding out is when I run the power cords from the heat mats down in order to get them over to the power strip that I hung on the wall behind here. Right now it's easy because I can get up on a ladder and reach underneath. But when I add on, and I already have the side here, when I add on to the height of these, it's going to be more interesting fishing for power cables. I might have to make the ones going up the rest of the way here, might have to make them, the power cables run in the middle here. Okay, this is a lot more difficult doing it up here than what I originally thought. But I Ideally, I would build the whole thing, bring it all in at once, and lift it all up there. But this is a project that's going to be added on to as I get more money for more extrusions. I got enough extrusions to get me to, I do believe, about 7 tubs total. I want to be able to go all the way up and then move over so I can have 15 tubs total, but don't have enough to make all 15 at once. So I want to go like 5 here total and 2 here, or however it works, and I need to expand afterwards. I need to be able to know how to build up. It's an ongoing thing. It's not one of those things where you get everything, you do it all at once, and it's said and done. I want to add on when I have time and when I have the money.
One eternity later.
You know what? I'm not even going to fast forward this because it's a waste of footage. All I'm doing is putting in the set screws into these little guys again. And you don't need to see that again. Now, if you're wondering if you have enough skill to make this kind of a rack, this is actually pushing my skill, and I'm a machinist by trade. I make a ton of things. I put together a ton of things. I design a ton of things like this rack. This is exhausting because, yeah, it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. Most tedious part is putting in the screws in these little things. But anyways, this will take you a long time to probably do. It's a long project, but it's going to be worth it. I know it is because I did 2 racks so far, and it's worth it. Thing is, these rails, these are the things you really need to make sure that they are tight, because your tub actually sits on here, and you don't want these to slide or move around at all, because it will screw up all your spacing for all where your heat panels are and stuff like that. So make sure when you put these in that the bolts are nice and tight. Okay, when you cut your plywood, try to make sure to cut them out of the same piece of plywood. Just a tip. Other than that, you'll have some variances in the thicknesses of the plywood. Now, I made my jig, a spacer for the gap right here, and this from the bottom to the top is up to the bottom of the rail. Now with those added together should leave just enough for this, but on this one, on my last one, slides a little too easy across it and it's not even touching. That's the main variance that you're probably going to have with these, is the thickness of the plywood. It's going to sit differently on your tubs. Slides over it perfectly, to tell you the truth. I'm not complaining, but some of the other ones are right snug against the bottom of the tub. So there will be minor temperature differences. I'm going to end this video now because I'm 99% done with it. 1, 2, 3, almost. I'm actually 2 8mm screws shy. 8mm long screws shy. And I am technically still top frame shy on this one, which I'm using this as my spare tub area. And I actually need a top frame for this one. This is the reason why I decided to do this kind of build and where I decided to get all my parts from. Because it's not the total dollar value of the rack, it's the ability to buy piece by piece. The biggest one-time expense was the tubs. Those were over $300 at the time that I purchased them. The aluminum extrusion, links will be down in the description from the Amazon links that I purchased it all from. All the little corner pieces and everything to hold all the extrusion together. The angle brackets I actually got from McMaster because they're a lot thicker than going to Menards. Because Menards doesn't always have everything in stock. McMaster, if it says it's in stock, it's in stock. So I needed to get a little bit more aluminum extrusion to make one more top piece for up here. And for up here, then I'll have a total of 15 spaces here for my females. Now, like I said, this ain't done yet. This technically is the bottom of the rack because Talos is gone. He's actually at Vision Products now. And these guys, these 2 racks, I want to replace. What do you think I'm going to replace them with? I wonder. Yeah, I'm going to build basically another one of these on top of this one. Once I switch it down to the bottom, I'm going to put some 2x4s on the bottom of this rack, put some caster wheels on, and then continue to go up. Hey. So I should have a total of 33 spots in this area, which is pretty darn good, I might say. Now, using the 3/4 inch extrusion compared to what Freedom Breeder uses, they use 1 inch stainless steel, so I gain a 1/4 inch per level, I do believe. So, but yeah, this build took too long, kicked my butt. It's time consuming, but I can do it when I have time. That's the cool thing about it. But until next time, please like, share, follow, subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified when we upload another DIY video or when we do an egg cut or a clutch cutting, which is coming up in December. Until then, we'll see you in the next video. We're out.